Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR. Today is Thursday morning. It's September 1st, the 1st of September. Do you remember the first night of September? I'm the man they call Meathead, joined by the non-singing Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
That's right. And the first night of September will be tonight. So if you want to remember the very first night of September, then just, maybe make a journal or a little log or something, to chart your adventures this evening.
Well, I mean, you could always use the knuckle trick again, which apparently was failing you yesterday as you're trying to figure out what day of the week it was.
Yeah, I just can't remember which knuckle does the 31-day thing.
The knuckles are the ones with 31. The stuff inside the knuckles, in between the knuckles, is either 28, 29, or 30.
So you mean the knuckle meat?
Sure, your knuckle meat. That's exactly what it is. Folks, Matthew Thomas, once he's done, laughing at his own jokes here, was going to tell you about the latest and greatest from collarandelbowbrand.com.
Yeah, they don't quite cover your knuckles or your knuckle meat, but they will cover a good portion of your upper body and your torso. The fine folks at Collar and Elbow Brand, they make wonderful clothing for your upper half. collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY, and check out the large selection of new designs that they've got. Quite a few new things making their way to collarandelbowbrand.com.
Can you imagine, how there used to be cat calls like from construction sites, guys yelling out, "Woo, hey, baby," which is obviously totally inappropriate. But what if it was flipped? It was women yelling out at men walking by, "Woohoo, look at that knuckle meat. Wow."
I think they might now. I don't think that's a phrase that's really been in the common lexicon, but I think after this morning show, that's gonna be the new thing. It's gonna go viral. That's what all the kids on their TikTok are gonna be talking about is knuckle meat.
I can't wait to TikTok my knuckle meat. Hey, you know what else is probably out there on TikTok? Results from the is it the 18th annual? I forgot to check here. But the World Gravy Wrestling Championships have returned after a 2-year break due to COVID. They're back at it, and they're wrestling in brown gravy.
Well, things are getting back to normal when you can wrestle in gravy again. Very intrigued by this. We'll have to wonder if maybe we can next year review it. I don't know if it's on Fight TV or Bleacher Report.
We'll have to talk to our good friend Josh Chernoff. So says Chernoff, and ask him if he's got gravy wrestling there. So I don't want any exposed knuckle meat. But, the host of wrestlers took part in the 12th annual World Gravy Wrestling Championships at the Rose and Bowl Pub in Rossendale, Lancashire on Monday. So this looks like it's over across the pond in the UK. That's where you get the finest in gravy wrestling.
Yeah, and I tell you, it throws some stuffing in there. I would actually pay good money to wrestle in some stuffing and/or gravy. I mean, preferably with both, but if you can hold the gravy and just give me the stuff, and I'll wrestle in that.
Best mud wrestling match I've ever seen had to come from the movie Stripes, when you had Ox, played by John Candy, taking on the girls. You got Dave Thomas as the MC, the sleazy 80s style MC with his shirt open and a big, medallion inside his hairy chest. Yeah, that was great stuff. Hey, let's transition into something a little bit more somber here. Impact Wrestling's Joe Doering has to step away from active competition. Joe Doering's cancer has come back, and it's been pretty aggressive again. So he's stepping away. He was violent by design, and now he's going to be defeating cancer for a second time. Good luck to Joe. Get that surgery, get that rehabilitation going. We're ready for you whenever you're ready to come back.
Absolutely. I 100% echo those comments.
Matthew, I did a little investigative journalism this morning, and I did a little digging. So we're going to get into AEW Dynamite last night. And for those that don't know, I looked up Ace Steel. Ace Steel, Matthew, did you know who Ace Steel was before last night's show?
No clue.
Okay. Ace Steel is the guy that came out after Moxley left the contract in the ring. Nobody jumped the fence, by the way, and grabbed that contract and signed it, which is beyond me. I mean, Justin Roberts could have signed it for all I cared. But Ace Steel came out, grabbed the contract, and gave it to Punk later in the evening. Ace Steel is also a professional wrestler. He's now currently an AEW coach. So I went down his bio. Ace Steel did wrestle in a tag team with CM Punk way back in NWA. He worked a bunch of Ring of Honor. He was part of the Second City Stance with Colt Cabana and Punk. They were in a stable, members being from Chicago. He was also in WLW, World League Wrestling. He actually had a stint in ROH. He actually worked as a coach in WWE. But you know what he's most famous for, Matthew Thomas?
I got a feeling we are getting ready to find out, and we might very well be surprised.
It's not Eugene cutting his hair when Bischoff and Eugene were going to have a hair versus hair match at Taboo Tuesday. It's not him wrestling on Velocity against Orlando Jordan. Matthew Thomas, he has a win on Raw dressed as Donald Trump in the Donald versus Rosie match. Do you remember that? There was a fake Donald and a fake Rosie, and he won shooting the Fudgy the Whale at Rosie's face.
I remember it distinctly, and I remember the reception that it got. And I think that is one of the few times that you have actually heard an audible TNA chant in WWE. I remember the build up to it. I distinctly, there's a lot of stuff, from freaking a few weeks ago I might have forgotten, but I distinctly remember this segment.
So he also won with a hair butt, by the way, not a headbutt, a hair butt. Yeah. So that match was on January 8th of 2007. It was reported on January 18th of 2007. In the midst of 11 releases that day, he was officially signed to a WWE developmental contract, and he went to go work at Deep South Wrestling in the month after. After that was shut down, he's also a member of the OVW roster as well, and he debuted in September of 2007. Now, in October of 2007, he quickly got defeated by Chuck Palumbo, later released from his developmental contract in 2008, along with a bunch of other developmental wrestlers. But he was a WWE coach, actually, from November 2019 all the way through January 5th of 2022. So during the COVID era, Ace Steel was actually in WWE as a coach.
And we're talking about the first few weeks of January in 2007 in WWE, and I am almost positive I am correct on this. I think that would have been the show 1 week removed from You're Going to Remember This Show. Do you remember the appearance? And I believe it was on January 1st of 2007. That was the K-Fed episode, wasn't it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is the same time frame, the same year. I am almost positive that was a week prior.
Tell us your feelings on that.
Oh my goodness. It was K-Fed versus Cena, right?
I think so. I mean, but tell me.
It was I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because K-Fed was
December 31st, 2015. Oh. That can't be right.
No.
January 1st, 2007. Kevin Federline grabs a shocking victory over John Cena.
And it was he was a special member of M&M, wasn't he? Wasn't that? It was still Johnny Nitro at the time, and or was he Morrison at the time? That probably would have predated.
It was Johnny Nitro.
Yeah, that Nitro. Oh my goodness. What a run of WWE. Those 2 weeks, those just
Federline had a pinfall victory on John Cena. Say that again out loud. Kevin Federline has a pinfall victory over John Cena.
Yes, he does. What a week in wrestling. You have K-Fed getting the win over Cena on New Year's Day, and then you have
Rosie O'Donnell, got defeated by Fudgy the Whale.
What a week in professional wrestling.
What the hell were they thinking? That's 15 years ago, folks. 14 and a half, 15 years ago.
That's amazing.
Let's talk about Dynamite from last night. The Elite obviously taking on United Empire for a spot in Sunday's Trios title tournament finals. And the show opens up with Jon Moxley cutting a promo on CM Punk in Chicago. If this would have been the only time we saw Moxley in the ring, I would have thought it was fantastic and a great way to continue the story. Matthew.
Yeah. We got, I personally think a little too much Moxley on the mic last night. And I mean, I'll open it up with what we talked about last week and what we saw last night. This is not working for me. It doesn't make sense to me. I think we could have had a potential, really interesting go home show in Chicago had last week's match not happened. And I thought potentially last night we would get a little bit more. Things would come into focus a little bit more as to why they're doing what they're doing. Oh, that makes sense. I'm just as bewildered after last night as I was a week ago.
The key takeaway from the first segment here was Moxley said, I've got an open contract. I've already signed it. I'm going to leave it in the ring. I don't care if it's somebody from this company, from another company. It's right here. Ace Steel, who works in the back now, he's a coach and a producer with AEW, came out to the ring, grabbed the contract, put it in his pocket, and walked away. Nothing to be said of it, right off the bat. After that, Chris Jericho is backstage with Tony Schiavone, and Jericho obviously hyping up his match with Bryan Danielson at All Out. Here comes Daniel Garcia to say, I believe in you. I apologize. I'm all for the Jericho Appreciation Society. So here's the match. Bryan Danielson defeating Jake Hager with Chris Jericho doing commentary. This was a cluster. It was a great match up until the end, and I thought it was sloppy at the end.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. I mean, of course, we needed, I guess, something to kind of whet our appetite for Danielson Jericho. I don't think you really need any type of warm-up match or anything for that. I mean, I think that this, I would rather have seen these two face-to-face in a promo. I mean, not that the match was not excellent, but I just don't know that it had the desired effect.
Yeah. We've got matches for some of the Jericho Appreciation Society. We'll talk about the matches, at the end of the week here on Friday morning, tomorrow morning. The next segment. Hey, Matthew, have you been asking or clamoring for the wingman?
Yeah, I've got a little petition that I've made online.
Ryan Nemeth, Peter Avalon, Cesar Bonani, and JD Drake. Did I say them all right? I think I said them, and that's without reading off of a prompter here.
Oh my goodness, look at you.
Yeah, the wingmen want more time on the screen, and their time is going to be shortened by the return, technically, of W. Morrissey, formerly of Impact Wrestling, who did show up on AEW Dynamite television as a hired gun to Chris Jericho when he was running, or was it, who was it? It was a hired gun of MJF while MJF was having the feud with Chris Jericho as a hired gun. So it was the Five Labors of Jericho, I think it was.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the Morrissey look and what's next?
Little surprised, did not expect it. And my concern is he potentially gets lost on the roster, and nothing against what he will be able to do there. I don't really know what kind of who you're going to run him with, and where he is really going to align with currently so many underutilized talent on their roster.
To be honest, I think he has the, I'm not saying that he's not a unique individual and a unique talent, because he obviously is. But if I were to match him up with two other talents in the AEW, he's half Wardlow, half Lance Archer.
Yeah. Archer comparison is really good.
Just a younger Lance Archer, obviously. But what I'm saying to you is it's a big man that can really move and has power. But we already have Wardlow. So if there's one slot for a big power man, it's already taken by fan favorite Wardlow.
Yeah, no, and that's a very, very valid. Well, I know they don't do a lot of, really out there angles, but maybe he does. Maybe they botched this presentation and he needed to be presented as a time-traveling young Lance Archer.
Oh, boy. All right, so Stokely Hathaway comes out and gives a card to W. Morrissey. Schiavone, in his old age, in his, advanced age in the wrestling business, has grown a set of balls to rival that of The Miz. because what he says was Stokely Hathaway, what's going on here? What's up with these cards? Why are you handing them out? Stokely tells him it's none of your business. He goes, no, it is my business. We run a TV show here, so you're going to tell me. Who the hell does Tony Schiavone think he is?
I don't know, but he's curious about those cards, Maybe
I mean, are they tradable? Because he's a baseball guy. Remember, Schiavone worked a lot of years with the Braves organization.
Yeah, they might be. They might be, or maybe it's what was it, American Psycho, in the scene where there's the obsession with the different style of cards.
American Psycho, I thought he was obsessed with Genesis.
Yes, but I think both. I think there is a was it Genesis or Huey Lewis in the News?
I think it was all that era, to be honest.
Yeah. I want to say it was Huey Lewis, and I think there was a boardroom scene where they're comparing cards. But it's been a long time since I watched that movie.
It's funny because there was a movie on just recently where I saw Negan and Maggie from The Walking Dead, and they were the parents to Bruce Wayne. So that movie came on right after something else went off the air. I kid. The actors that played Negan and Maggie from The Walking Dead are actually Martha and Thomas Wayne in the Batman versus Superman movie.
Yes. Oh, wow. Correct you are.
All right. So Callis comes back and talks to Will Ospreay, and this is nothing but a talking shit segment to kind of poke at Will Ospreay, because remember, there's real life heat between Omega and Ospreay. They back and forth on the Twitter machine. And coming up next, we've got Tony Storm and Akara Sheeda defeating Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter with Rebel. I can't remember the last Britt Baker solid tag team win or singles win. I know they're out there. I just don't remember them.
Yeah, and I mean, she was the top of that women's division for so long, and it's not the case anymore, or at least not at present moment. But no, you're right. But I think part of that is that division being as thin as it is, because when you are kind of somewhat relegated to a women's segment per show, you don't get to see. There just aren't as many possibilities for her to rack up many convincing wins, not as your champion.
All right, so they recap the whole Kip Sabian story, basically, of the dude walking around with the box on his head, right? Apparently, the voiceover says that Kip Sabian is going to be going after Pac, the bastard Pac, at All Out and trying to get that All-Atlantic title. Let me say this. Since Pac's won the All-Atlantic title, is this the first time it's being defended on AEW TV? The answer is yes.
Yeah. I know it's been defended, but off-brand, right?
Off-brand.
Yeah. Interesting.
Miro cuts his little promo. Go ahead, Matthew.
Are you sure we didn't miss like a Dark defense or something?
No. The Dark, it was on Dark at a different show. This is where Dark showed clips from another show.
Oh, okay.
Miro cuts his promo about how he's going to destroy the House of Black. In comes Darby. In comes Sting. Showtime. There's a trios match at All Out. Here comes CM Punk down in the ring looking despondent. I'm like, oh, okay. CM Punk is here. Now this is just getting weird again. What really made it weird, because the cameras didn't show him, so obviously it was something where I don't like to use insider terminology, but CM Punk decided to call out a fan at ringside and says, I probably broke more bones than this guy's ever had sex with women. Wow, dude. Aren't you supposed to
it was the screws. Chicago? It was the screws in his foot, right?
Yeah. I have probably more screws in my foot than this guy's ever had screws. Something like that. But wow. Was it necessary? Did you need to do that? Reports from the arena say that he was chanting for Colt Cabana, and it's
wow.
All the chanting for Colt Cabana is going to do is just piss him off. So it wasn't necessary on either end. Let's continue. Here comes Ace Steel, the guy that we mentioned earlier from the Donald Trump Rosie O'Donnell match, and Ace Steel gets in his face, smacks around Punk, lets everybody know he was his coach. He was the one that got him started. And this fiery attitude out of Ace Steel. I looked up who his trainers were. Fit Finley. What was the, I don't have the page anymore, but what was the other guy that was in the English group along with William Regal in WCW?
Dave Taylor?
Dave Taylor. So he was trained by Finley, Dave Taylor, William Regal, all guys that kick ass. I mean,
yeah.
So.
And I was hoping you were going to throw Norman Smiley in there as well.
Norman Smiley.
Yes.
That was his French version. Punk gets all fired up, and he cuts a promo and says, "We're Chicago, we're this, we're that, we're going to burn you down where you're not drinking my blood, you sick bastard." It's going to be a match Sunday at All Out.
Yeah, I mean the end of it where he got fired up and going out in the crowd, that was a nice visual. But my
It was
goodness,
visceral too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was visceral. But I don't understand the Ace Steel deal. Ace Steel, that's his name, right?
Ace Steel, somebody to hype him up, to wake him up.
Here's the thing, though, like, you're going to do that and basically introduce a character to most of your audience. I just don't understand. Like having that pivotal person. Yeah, I don't. Now, here's the thing. Say he and Colt Cabana had made up and were friends again or something. Something that had a little bit more resonance with most of your viewers. But this just it didn't make a ton of sense to me. And you referenced the fan that he made the comment to earlier on, but this was this is Punk's town, this is Punk's city, and yeah, they came around by the end, but this seemed like a much more lukewarm response than I've ever heard Punk get in Chicago, and I think that
Moxley came out first. That's
why. Yeah, and I think it just breaks down to people kind of a little bit just confused about this whole thing and what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. And again, I can't remember if we were on air or not, but okay, so this is sympathetic Punk. This was a very sympathetic promo. We go back to the promo a few weeks ago. Yeah, he was trying to get he going up against Moxley in his city the following week, but the whole Page thing, man, I go back to that. Like, where's the payoff there? What's going on with any of this?
We'll get to that in a second here. All right, so Punk's all fired up, and this would have been great if it would have ended right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Jungle Boy and Christian Cage sitting down with JR. JR said, "The only reason I agreed to do this is no physicality." One of the things AEW does is gets the two competitors to sit down. Do you think Riddle and Rollins could have done that segment? Absolutely not, dude. They would have been fighting right on top of JR.
If JR was between them, and then they both guaranteed they weren't gonna burn JR.
All right, so you know what? This is something you've been asking for, Matthew. He's not going to be fighting Jungle Boy on Saturday. He's going to be fighting Jack Perry.
Absolutely. I thought some of the mic work was not as good as we've seen so far in recent weeks with Jungle Boy, but my goodness, the finish where he's fighting Jack Perry, absolutely. Yes, give us Jack Perry.
Okay. Jungle Boy Jack Perry is the way it should be. And then you can drop off the Jungle Boy later if you want.
JJJP.
FTR and Wardlow take on a team that involves one of my favorite guys, and he never got in a ring once. Did you see that? Did you see who it was for one? And two, he never got tagged in.
No, who was it?
It's the Last Real Man. The sponsor is Screaming Sicilian Pizza.
Yes.
Silas Young from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if he got in, they would have won.
I think so, because remember, he had that long match. Who did he wrestle? Hangman, I think it was.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee, he had a match. Hangman and Silas Young had a great match. They told a great Ring of Honor story of Silas Young. And, if you got Silas Young on your trios team, at least tag him in. Let him start at least,
Oh, without
all right.
that.
Moxley came back down to the ring afterwards. And this was right before a match, unannounced. Shivani, you can hear him go, we were supposed to go to the four-way match. And here comes Moxley again. Why? I was good with each man having their say.
Because that's what he does. He walks very hurriedly to things, and he had a chance to walk hurriedly to the ring again. You think he walks like that in the mall, like the same kind of stride when he's walking?
Like when he sees Annie's pretzels start. To
yeah. You think that's how he walks through the mall? Yep. I don't know, but he had to make sure that he came out and told us that it's going to be an extreme and unprecedented showcase of brutality and violence. So probably going to be a lot of blood, and he's probably going to try to drink some of it.
I really hope there's a wrestling hold for about 4 minutes, just sitting there, and he's holding him in a headlock. All right, four-way match. It's Wheeler Yuta, Rey Fenix, Roosh, and Dante Martin. Four of the members that are going to be in the Sonic the Hedgehog Battle Royal this coming Sunday. For the brass toilet ring or whatever it is, Casino Royale match. But again, this the winner of the six-way that's going to happen on Sunday is going to be a number one contender for the World Championship. They win a world title shot.
Yeah, and we still got a Joker, right?
There's one left over. I think it's W. Morrissey.
Interesting. Man, if that was the case, I would have hoped we wouldn't have seen him until he premiered, but
right. All right, Shivani interviews John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and because they're down because Evil Uno got attacked by the Andrade family office, which is now just Andrade and Jose the assistant, Hangman Adam Page offered his services to be in their trios match this Friday against the Best Friends. Hangman didn't say a single word. Happy, smiling face, and he got punked out, pun intended, by CM Punk last week on TV, or 2 weeks ago.
What's that all about? I don't know. Are we
supposed to forget about that?
I have no idea. I mean,
because they ask us to know all these wrestlers, to know their histories.
Yeah.
But am I supposed to be selective and forget that?
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I guess it could have been Punk ad-libbing and, just throwing that at the start of his promo, and they were never going to do anything with it, and they don't see a need to do anything with it currently.
Coming up on Rampage, remember, I believe Rampage is live from Chicago this Friday night, tomorrow night. Hangman Page and the Dark Order take on the Best Friends. QT Marshall, Ricky Starks, Sammy Guevara, and Tay Mello again against Ortiz and Ruby Soho. And then on AEW All Out Zero Hour, which is the pre-show, look at the matches they've got already for the pre-show. Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. The AEW All Atlantic Championship, Pac and Kip Sabian. Hook will take on Angelo Parker. Wow, that's
a loaded pre-show.
All right, the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia coming up on Dynamite next week, Wednesday. Okay, main event time. It's the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and the United Empire, Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. I love the shit talking in the intro for Kenny Omega.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun. And he's beaten them more than once in a city that's not in North Carolina. Thank you. Oh, that's such good stuff. I wonder how long it takes him and Justin Roberts to just sit down and write it out.
You know what? I like to think that Justin Roberts just does it on the fly.
I'd like to think that Justin Roberts just makes it up. Yeah, on the fly.
No, absolutely.
Winners of the match, the Elite, they're going to go on to face the winner of Best Friends and Dark Order with Hangman Adam Page. Matthew, while all six competitors are amazingly talented, I'm really a big fan of Will Ospreay, and I love me some Kenny Omega. The standing around, waiting for moves, no counting of the tag team moves, no tagging in and out. This isn't Lucha Libre or AAA where there's really no rules on that. There's got to be some sort of order.
Yeah, that's not AEW style of tag team wrestling.
It's bonkers. All right, let's talk about AEW All Out coming up this Sunday. Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho. The AEW World Women's Championship is a four-way. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter. Miro, Darby Allin, and Sting taking on the House of Black. The TBS Championship, Jade Cargill and Athena. Jungle Boy, Christian Cage, FTR and Wardlow against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. The Casino Ladder Match, otherwise known as the Sonic the Hedgehog, grabbed the golden hemorrhoid donut. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Trios Championship Tournament Finals, which is either Best Friends, Dark Order, or the Elite. AEW World Championship, CM Punk and Jon Moxley. Also, Swerve Honor Glory take on the Acclaimed. Here's a question I have for you. Did you notice that when Excalibur does his fastest 60 seconds in announcing, because he's naming off all the matches and all the shit that's coming up without taking a breath, how come half of the promos have moving characters and the other half are still pictures?
Yeah. I tell you, man, It was a little bit unnerving watching him do it last night, and I think that's probably what it was. Was like, yeah, this guy's talking really fast, and I'm afraid he might suffocate. But you've got, you've got some static pictures, and you've got some movie pictures. It's a lot, You know what, man? That might be some type of form of mind control. I bet you he could like sneak a few words or something in there and hypnotize you to like buy a certain brand of chips or something.
He did. I mean, I literally went to make Italian sausages right after.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is ironic because I was doing Roundy's brand, like house brand. So I didn't know that he was in with the Roundy's people.
That's exactly what's going on there.
All right. Matthew, that is what we got. I got one big bit of news. I know I talked to Linda Kay about this. I'm talking to you about it, and I'm talking to all of our listeners. The PWR Fantasy Draft free agent pickups window is now open today until the end of Sunday night. We've got 3 big shows. Saturday, Clash at the Castle. Sunday, the Power Man 5000 pay-per-view from NXT, When Worlds Collide. And then Sunday night, AEW All Out. Matthew, get your picks in. Get your free agent pickups in. There's going to be a lot of heavy Fast and Furious flying around with agents. Again, the totals brought to you by the accounting firm, Dewey, Cheatham and Howell. The man they call Meathead leads at 1,835. Linda Kay in second at 1,610. And Matthew, you're pulling up the rear at 1,240.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that dubious honor.
For Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. We will talk to you tomorrow morning and break down everything that's going to happen on those 3 shows. So long, everyone.